And the act health and physical exercise, energy expenditure, and energy intake be termed as weight management. I know that it all has to do with your body mass index and all that. So physical exercise comes into play as well. But what exactly is weight management, and how can we all manage our weight? So this morning I'm in the studio with Na Hago, who is a lecturer, dance instructor of the University of Ghana Dance Department. Na, good morning.
Good morning.
I hope you're doing well.
Great.
You're welcome
I'm
to the
fine.
breakfast show.
Thank you.
All right. So as I mentioned, we're talking about weight management this morning.
Yeah.
But then, what exactly is weight management?
Well, weight management simply has to do with your intake, your weight, how much you weigh, and then whether you are having the right weight on you, or you are underweight, or you are overweight. So how do you do the balance? How do you do the math to make sure that your weight is perfect and you are healthy and you are about to do your work?
It's about how much you weigh on you.
Yeah, how much you weigh.
How much
Yes,
weight you have on
your
you.
best weight that is not too much or too low.
That's not
Yes.
too much
Or too
or
low.
too low.
So you have to manage your weight so that you do not put on excess
Okay.
or you are not underweight. You need to
Okay.
keep the balance
Okay.
going.
Okay.
So that is all about weight management. Activities that you have to do, food that you have to eat, what you need to do to keep your weight well balanced.
So in that
is-
situation, when you find out that probably you are overweight, or maybe you have more weight on you than you need, then you'd have to manage it so it can be balanced.
Yes, yes. Having more weight sometimes also it's simple. You realize that in your day-to-day activities, your attire, your trousers, your undies,
Yeah.
they do not fit anymore.
Okay.
You realize that you wear it and you are suffering. Yes, you wear your trousers or you wear your shirt or
They
your
get
dress.
too tight.
It's getting
Probably
too
can't even
tight.
button anymore.
Exactly, you cannot zip anymore and you are so uncomfortable. So you need to change your wardrobe now and then, keep changing your wardrobe, either upwards or you need to buy
Downward.
smaller ones. You have to ask, what am I doing wrong? Or what are the factors? And one has to do with eating. Sometimes stress causes people to eat and they keep on eating and eating and eating and they put on so much weight. Other times too, we snack in between meals. Anything comes, sweets, chocolate, biscuits, pie, and stuff like that.
Okay.
You just keep snacking on them and you don't actually stick to a regular meal schedule. So you realize that you keep on putting on weight and
Why now you're talking about putting on weight?
Yeah.
How about losing weight? There are times when you get to a certain stage, realize that some of your clothes are getting too big on you.
Yes.
Your panties, like you mentioned, your undies are getting too
Yes.
big. So you also have to change your
Your
wardrobe. So
yes.
there's a time that you can also lose weight as well.
Yes.
Just as you can gain weight.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And when those moments come on, you have to ask yourself, what am I doing right or what am I doing wrong? Now, I said stress. Now, stress will make people eat. Stress will make people not eat.
Okay.
Yes. So you realize if you do not eat, then you start losing weight. And when you lose weight, if you look at your body mass index and you strike the average, you realize that you are underweight. And then you need to ask, what did I do wrong? Then you have to look at your schedule. You have to look at your food that you eat, whether you take your breakfast, you take your lunch, and you take your dinner, and what are the portions, what are the proportions, whether you have a balanced diet. Now you have to, if you're managing your weight, you have to look at your energy intake, the food that you eat, and then the output.
Okay.
Right? How much do you eat? Let's take, for instance, someone who is a manual worker, who is into construction or into lifting weight or moving about briskly. You look at eating the right amount of food with all the various portions, vitamins, the proteins, and the carbohydrates, everything
okay.
well balanced. Or you take in just carbohydrates a little, and then you go about doing a lot of work that would demand so much energy. You realize you lose weight because you are not compensating for the energy you are taking as to the energy that you dispense. You take in less and you dispense more. so then you lose weight, and it will tell on your
you.
being. Yes.
Okay. Why is it really? We would get to how you can determine whether you are losing weight, like professionally, how you can determine whether you're losing weight or gaining weight. What some of the things are supposed to do to determine that you're actually losing weight or gaining weight. But then let's look at why it's even important, weight management. Why is it really important?
Well, you realize as you go along, you need to, just like the automobile, right? You need to check whether your fuel it's enough for you.
Okay.
Yes, you need to check whether you have enough oil in your engine. You need to check whether your body, right, is running efficiently on good energy. So that's why I was talking about balancing the energy that you use. You eat right proportions of food, and then you dispense the right energy. Now, if you don't eat the right proportion of food, you don't dispense the exact energy that you need to do efficient.
You're seeing some
work.
pictures on our screen, so probably that might
Yes.
be a woman who might be a bit overweight.
Overweight, yes.
Okay.
Yes, and even in considering overweight, according to one Christopher Steele, right, approximately 62% of U.S. population is overweight.
Overweight.
Yes, and 1/3 are considered obese.
Okay.
Just as we have seen, we take in so much, and we are not able to dispense all the energy. Now you realize at one point in time we're being advised that in the morning we should eat a balanced diet. In the afternoon we should even eat like canes, and then in the evening we eat like poppers.
Yes.
Now you realize when the body is in a resting position or resting state, you do not actually dispense any energy. The body is in a relaxed state, so it needs little energy, and that's when you are sleeping in the evening. So you don't have to eat your banku and your kenke and your fufu and a lot of rice late in the night.
Okay.
Now when you eat that, the body will use only very minute bit. The rest, because it's in the resting moment, it will store them as fat, and that's what you see with the woman. It's deposited in the belly, in the arms, and then you have your flabby.
Now I'll come back to that particular discussion. But then we joined the studio by Lester Wise, Lecha Wise. Okay, he's a dietitian with the Trust Hospital. Okay, Lecha, good morning, and you're welcome to the program.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
So we're looking at weight management, and then let me first take your definition of weight management. And we'll come to why it's important.
Yeah, at every point in life, life is a growth process. The human body undergoes changes. And right from before you are born, there's a new phenomenon in nutrition now. We refer to as the first 1,000 days of life.
The first 1,000 days of life. Okay.
That is starting from the time that you become pregnant till your child becomes 2 years old. Okay. All those stages are critical, So the growth starts from when you become, your mother takes seed of you till you become an adult yourself. The things that happen
I need to understand this. The first 1,000 days in one's life,
beginning
when you are a baby, your mom is womb, or when you, the mother, are pregnant?
No, beginning from when your mother became pregnant of you.
Okay.
Till you are 2 years old. They are the most critical days in terms of nutrition in anybody's life,
okay.
And those days, the decisions that your mother makes affects the way you grow, affects your adult age, adult weight, adult height, health status, whether you suffer from one chronic disease or not, and all those kind of things, But why did I bring it in? Just to lay the foundation, the reason why we should manage our weights well. For every height that you attain, there is a corresponding weight that you should be carrying. And beyond that weight, you are likely to put too much stress on your heart, on your kidneys, on your internal organs. And if you do it that way, if you are carrying more weight than the organs can carry, then they get stressed out. You may end up with diseases, degenerative diseases, lifelong diseases, and all those kind of things, So that's why it's so important to always look forward to maintaining the right kind of weight for your height.
Okay.
And talking about that, it follows assessment, You can't just look at the way somebody is looking, whether they are looking big or small, and say they are fine. No. You must be put on the scale. You should be put on the body composition monitor. You should be assessed. You should be measured. and then the standards are there. Then you compare
So then
yourself
imagine
to
they measure your height and your weight.
your height,
body
your weight. You can determine your body fat
Okay.
and the fat inside your body, the percentage of your weight which is fat, and all those things, body composition. Sometimes muscles, water, bone, and all those things can be measured, you see, so that to see whether you are being composed very well or not. And coming to that, if your weight definitely goes above what it should be for your height, then the most logical thing or the healthiest thing to do is think about bringing it down. If it is too light or too small for your height, you think about bringing it up to scratch or to where it should be, you see, so that you be within the normal range. Let me say just a little about pregnancy.
Okay.
Before you get into pregnancy or before you become pregnant, you should be there are certain preparations that you should be making. And when it comes to nutrition, you should be in a good nutritional status. That means your body mass index should be within the normal range, between 18 and 25. There are people who have lower body mass indices and
So between 15 and...
sorry, 18 and 25.
18 and 25.
Exactly.
Okay.
People with lower body mass indices find it difficult to even conceive in the first place. The same applies to those with higher body mass indices, like overweight and obese, 25, 30 and above.
To get pregnant.
They find it difficult to get pregnant. And that tells you that within, before you become pregnant, it should be within a normal range, you know. And we talk about pregnancy complications. There is increasing cry about maternal mortality. People going to give birth and they die. The babies don't survive till their first 5 years of life. And all these things border around the mother, the nutritional status of the mother. If you are overweight, you are more likely to even give birth to a child that is not so normal. If you are underweight, you are more likely to give birth to a child that's even probably is low birth weight, lower weight than normal when you are at the time you are giving birth to them. And that's all affects the health of the child, goes beyond the child to affect the society and nations and the world at large.
Okay. So that is it's added more to the why it's important to manage our weight, whether you are overweight or underweight. Now let's look at this thing called energy balance and then weight management. What's the relationship between energy balance and weight management now?
Yes, I mentioned a bit about it in our initial discussion. But energy balance looks at your intake, your input and output balance.
Okay.
Right. So what do you take in? What are the right nutritional proportions that you take in? And how much energy do you dispense? Now, if you eat more than you give out, then you need to strike the balance. You need to check it. And
you eat more than you exercise or something?
Well, I spoke about manual workers and then people who just sit in the office. So if you sit in the office, you don't overeat or you don't snack in between because you do not use the excess energy, right? So if you don't use them, they are stored. And that's what will cause you to be overweight.
Okay.
You'll be underweight also if you eat less and you dispense more.
Okay.
So you need to strike the balance between what you take and then what you give out. Now, if you look at what you take and then what you give out, you strike the average and realize that it is more, you take in more than you dispense, or you take in less than you dispense, then you need to check the average. And mostly with office workers, you realize in the morning you eat heavy, you sit in your car, you drive to your office, and then you sit behind the desk.
Most people eat light in the mornings, just a tea and a slice of bread and some salads, and then you get to the office. And
you get to the office, and then you sit. There's no exercise. There's no walking.
So I just drank tea and a slice of bread.
Yes, a slice of bread. Bread is energy. Bread is carbohydrate, right? So you don't dispense it.
Okay.
You just sit down with it, and then and we realize sometimes because they would not go out to go and eat lunch properly or do any activity, they have bits of snack in their bag, and then as they work, they snack on it.
Yes.
Good. Now, if you snack on it, fine, but then you need to dispense. If you don't dispense, you're still keeping it, and then you go for lunch, and then you come and sit down, and then you drive home, and then you eat, and then you sleep. So that sedentary lifestyle, there's nothing brisk about your life. That's where exercise comes in. So if you are that particular you are in that particular state of life, then you need to start exercising. If you realize you're putting on too much weight, you need to start exercising, and you need to start visiting the gym to do maybe some aerobics, some dance sessions that I would recommend.
Would come to the exercise and how you can properly manage your body weight.
Yes.
Then still on the issue concerning the energy balance and then the weight management. So you're looking at good nutritional food proportions, right?
Yes.
How we eat and how we take what we take in and what we take out,
yes.
what we give out.
Yes.
So when it comes to exercise or probably the work that we do and how manual it is.
Yes.
Let me come to you with the same question, lecturer.
Yes.
Energy balance and then weight management.
Exactly. We must understand that the food we eat gives us energy. In fact, one of the primary functions of food is to nourish the body and to provide energy for growth of tissue, cells, maintain life, and also give us good feeling, you know. The sugar we take is energy. The oil in the food is energy, you know. So in totality, the energy is not bad. Carbohydrate is not bad. Fat is not bad. Sugar is not bad. They are not poisonous. They are very necessary things for the body to grow and to maintain the cells, you see. But if you do them in excess, that is when we have problems. You want to also look at, as my brother was saying, the energy cost of the day. How much do you need in a day? You should take it in. But you should also make use of it. All the energy that is made available to the body, about 60% of it goes into reasoning for the brain, the nerves, and just to use. About 30% of all the energy that is made available to the body goes into physical activity. Most of the time, that is where we find ourselves lacking. We sit all day, as he said. We don't do things that will enable the body to dispense or use the energy, you see. So after you get the understanding that the food gives you energy, you need a certain basic amount of energy for the day, then you must also use it. That is where the balance comes in.
Okay.
What you put in must come out. If it's not coming out, then it's going to stay in there and becomes fat, becomes weight. So there will be
I don't want us to
positive
just
balance.
focus on people who are overweight too.
Okay.
How about those who are underweight as well? So let's look at both sides.
If you are underweight, it means that you may not be getting enough energy. You may be too active in the first instance, or you may be, using more than you put in. If you are overweight, you may be using less than you put in. You see, I'm using the words may because there are outliers. There are certain situations where people eat all the food they can eat, but they are still small.
Yeah.
They don't put on weight.
Yes.
The genes for them to be small are so strong. They don't bloat. There are some people also who will tell you, all I do is I'm drinking water, and they
Just
don't.
eating.
Even though water doesn't, I always tell people, water doesn't contain any energy. Water doesn't have fat, sugar, or anything. So water shouldn't make you put on weight. But they come and they just drink water, but they are still putting on weight. So there are other factors. There could be genetic factors, reasons why somebody will be big. Some people have very large bones, and that will definitely make them look huge, you see. But all in all, we should make sure that we don't have too much fat stored in the system. You see, we must make that effort to use the energy that we put into the system. My brother was talking about snacking in the office and all that. You know, you are sitting in the office. You don't really, the snacks you are taking, you may snack. As a dietitian, it's my duty to find a good snack for you that may not add on too much energy into your system, you see. But the kind of things that we snack on, the box of fruit juice, the meat pies, the Coca-Cola, and all those things.
Fruit juice, I was thinking that was good snack.
No, it's not good snack because it contains a whole lot of sugar. And the more sugar you have, the body will not use all the sugar that you are drinking at a go. Body will store the rest as energy. Let me tell you something about sugar. For sugar, because the brains use only sugar, our brains use only sugar as energy. It is, to the body, sugar is like the way we workers, we work and we get money. When you are paid at the end of the month, you are not going to spend all the money in one day. you keep it, sometimes you save. The body wouldn't want to, the body cannot spend all that sugar that you put in at a go.
Okay.
It will store the rest. And for inside the body, if you store the excess sugar as sugar, you are likely to lose it. Because sugar dissolves in water. There's a lot of fluid in the system. It gets into imbalances, then the body will have to work to remove the excess. You see, so sometimes when you urinate, you can even lose sugar. When you sweat, it's likely you can lose sugar,
Okay.
and all those processes. So the body will prefer to store the sugar as fat. Fat will not dissolve in water. It's not so liable, so easy to lose, you see. And the moment you are putting in a lot of sugar, body is storing it as fat, you will end up having overweight, becoming overweight and obese, you see, or putting on too much fat or weight. You understand?
Yeah.
But so the thing about the fruit juice is that it is sugar. It is refined. Fruit juice is not the same as fresh fruit. They are making the juice, they squeeze only the juice.
But you can make
There's
your own
no,
fruit juice.
Yes,
you
if
can
you
make your own
blend,
fresh fruits
if
and then blend.
if you are going to blend your own juice, then you should follow certain recommendations, you know. We don't want you to take in too much carbohydrate at the time that you are taking in the juice or the fruit. So when you see a dietitian, they'll work out quantities for you. Like oranges, maybe you take just one at a time. If it's banana, you take like 2 small fingers at a time. If it's watermelon, you have like 1/8, depending on who is involved, 1/8 of a medium size at a go.
Sometimes we feel that the fruits are safe, so we eat a lot.
That's
Our
how we are
portions
doing.
are a lot.
That's how we are doing this education.
Okay.
It's not too safe to just eat too much fruit.
Okay.
I have seen a lot of patients who go like, I only eat fruits as breakfast. I only eat fruit as lunch. Yet their blood sugar is going up. Yet their weight is never coming down. That tells you that the excess energy in the lot of fruits that they are eating is at work. It's working against
Okay.
them. So you have them in moderation, just in little quantities at a go, so that, I mean, it's safer.
Okay. All right. Now let me come to you now. I know you work with people, you have aerobics, people dance under your tutelage. What would you determine or classify as the best or proper weight management?
Well, as you mentioned exercise, you realize someone said, Mushi Feldankrias, he says that the best time to exercise is early in the morning, right? So early in the morning, after you've eaten the food late in the night and you do not use it, you need to let go of them. So you exercise at least 30 minutes before you go to work, and it's okay. Now, under my watch, my students do 1 hour of dance session. Yes, because it's
Vigorous dance session.
vigorous dance session,
Okay.
and it's not vigorous at a go. Yes, there is the low impact, that's the warm up, and then you peak up to high impact, and then you descend, and that is very good. Even if you are at home and you want to do skips, you take it at a slower pace, and then you pitch it up, and then you come down slowly, and then you do some stretches before you take your bath, and then you go home. Now, if you do not exercise in the morning, you could exercise in the evening after the day's work, and then you go through some of these exercise sessions, and then you eat light, and then you put your body to rest. Now, if you exercise properly every day, you realize all those suffering from sleep disorders, they'll have some corrected, right?
Okay.
Others may have a medical point to it, but then exercise also helps to resolve some of the sleep disorders, and that is one. Exercise does a whole lot of good to the body. That is why everybody must exercise at least once a day.
Speaking about everybody exercising at least once a day,
Yeah.
what if you're talking about weight management?
Yes.
Probably you're not overweight, you're underweight, your intake, probably you're taking in less than you give out, and yet you exercise. Won't that affect your weight more?
Yes, it will affect your weight, but that's why you have to find the balance. That's why you have to maybe visit a dietitian like we have Wise here, or you go to your gym instructor and then let him work your body mass index for you. Now you realize you are underweight or you are overweight. Now when you're underweight, you need to ask, so what do I do? That's where your proper dieting comes in. Then you check your lifestyle also, whether you have too much on your mind, or there's so much stress at work that it's preventing you from eating properly, or there's a lot of trouble at home that you are thinking and you're not eating properly. So if you're not eating properly, then you start eating properly. You need to visit a dietitian, and then you get your meal plan for you, and then you stay and stick to it. Or if you're overweight, you have to start exercising. You have to visit your gym instructor, and then you have to get a routine for yourself.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Lecha,
Yes.
what you determine as the proper or a good weight management?
Yeah, you watch the diet, cut down on the quantities of food, calories, and all that. Then you exercise.
You watch your diet.
If you watch your diet, you know, when you stop eating all the bad food, fatty foods, eating late, and all those things, the pizzas and all those things, what you are doing
The
to
pizzas.
yourselves, and the palm nut soups and granule soups and all those things,
Okay.
what you are doing to yourself is you are preventing further weight gain. Diet per se does not lose weight. The food restriction will prevent, will send you to a plateau, a stage where you don't add on further weight, you see. And then exercise you must do to burn whatever is there presently. So about 30% of the work is done with exercise. And exercise should be aerobic in nature, meaning that, simply put, it should be something that will make you pant for more air. If it's happening that way, it tells us that the body is actually using fat for energy. So activities like swimming, dancing, brisk walking, running on the treadmill, getting to your gym to get a plan, and all those things.
To make you pant for more air.
You do it for about 30 minutes. You know, when you look at the cycle, the body cycle, the way the body uses energy molecules, you realize that if you don't exercise for up to 30 minutes at least, you are not doing any good to yourself. But the body will not start burning fat until you stretch yourself to about 30 minutes. But before, there should be a caution, before anybody exercises, you should have yourself checked. You should get your doctor to check your heart, get your health status known. If you are diabetic, you can't go exercising for 1 hour at a stretch. If you do that, you might end up with low blood glucose levels, and that can give you problems. If you are hypertensive, you go exercise, you might end up pushing up your BP above normal. So all these things should be monitored by a doctor. But at least it's safe to do about 30 minutes exercise. It can be in the morning, it can be in the afternoon, it can be in the night. Now we are trying to live a life of convenience.
At least for 30 minutes and not less than 30 minutes, right?
Not less than 30 minutes. We are trying to live lives of convenience, you know. People want to gain, but they are not ready to sacrifice. If you don't sacrifice, you may not be able to gain anything. If it comes to weight management, you should put aside the laziness. Let me put it that way. You should put aside the convenience. This is me, my office, this, my work. I have to be there at this time. I don't have time to go on break. Too many excuses. You will never benefit. What you do is one day, there are complications of weight. I'm not a prophet of doom, but these are things that we see in the hospital.
You've actually mentioned some that are quite alarming. The fact that you can't even have a baby if you're not careful because of your weight.
It affects a lot of things. You might end up with a stroke. And if you are working, you think because of your work schedules, you can't exercise. It's over to you. If you get a stroke, your office, they'll get somebody to do the work. You'll be admitted at the hospital. You and your family will suffer, you see. So I'm putting this across so that people will go beyond the comfort zone. You must think about your own self to some extent.
Okay.
And then do something. Get yourself checked, and select the right kind of exercise every day, as my brother mentioned.